Hey everyone! Hey, it's Kevin with Divinely Design. And today we have a soap video. This is probably going to be pretty quick because it's going to be very little design element. I'm going to do an all white soap with this. But before we get into the soap itself and my recipe and all the design that's going into it, I have to show you one of my subscribers sent me this fantastic stick blender holder. It's in my favorite color too. He is a fellow soap maker, and his name, and I hope I pronounce it right, is Fujie Robesky, who is also a potter. So he made this fantastic stick blender for me, and I will have a link to his website below. His website is just getting started out, so there's not a whole lot on it right now. I asked him if he sells these, and he says no, he wasn't really planning to sell them. And I said, you should consider it, because I bet you there are several soap makers who would love to have one of these. But I will have a link to his website below if you'd like to, harass him maybe about getting one of your own. So thank you very much, Fujie. That was really just amazingly kind of you. Okay, so to our soap today. Today I'm doing a little bit of a feature with some Mad Oil products. I'm going to be using a little bit of Mad Oil fragrance and colorants. And this soap, I've been thinking about doing it for a while, is going to be an all-white soap with really no swirls or anything, which for me is so hard to do, because every time I think of all of those beautiful micas and powders just sitting in my closet, just waiting and begging to be used. But I am going to resist that urge today. We're going to do just a pure white soap, so I'll be using some titanium dioxide from Brambleberry that I have pre-mixed in some water for really just the only colorant of the soap itself. For a fragrance, today I'll be using Mad Oil's Thai Sticky Rice. Now, when I got this fragrance, I was a little bit sort of on the fence about it. It sounded intriguing because it's a little bit unusual, but I wasn't quite sure I would love it. I was like, well, who's going to love the fragrance of rice? But it smells great. So good, in fact, I am just using it straight out of the bottle, just right in the soap itself, nothing else other than the fragrance oil. And it's gosh, I don't even know how to describe it. When you smell it, it reminds you exactly of that rice, that sticky rice that has sort of a sweet, earthy smell to it. It's not, how do I describe this? I don't want to say it's a faint fragrance, but it's not overpowering. It's kind of it's there. I mean, I definitely smell it. I don't want to give the impression that it's kind of weak, but it's not overpowering. It's just sort of subtly there. So I just want to leave the fragrance alone, just leave that sort of subtle scent there. So I'm going to pour the all-white soap, let it sit, firm up, kind of do a peaked top to it, and then for just a little bit of color, kind of a minimalist approach today, I'm going to use some things on top. I'm going to use some rice, and this rice I have dusted with some Mad Oil's Voodoo Mica, which is this brilliant pink, and some calendula petals that I have dusted in Sister Golden Hair Surprise, which is kind of this beautiful shimmery gold kind of color. So kind of going for a minimalist design today. For additives, we'll be using some kaolin clay, about 3 tablespoons. And a new ingredient for me, this is yogurt powder, also about 3 tablespoons. The yogurt powder is from a company called Soap Dish, which I haven't really used very much. I think this is probably only my second order from them. But I will have a link to the yogurt powder below in the description as well. Okay, let's go over the recipe. Olive oil pomace, 420 grams. Coconut oil, 76 degree, 350 grams. Rice bran oil, 140 grams. Avocado oil, 140 grams. Cocoa butter, 140 grams. And in this case, I'm using a deodorized cocoa butter. Again, because this fragrance isn't, I don't want to use the word strong, because that's not what I'm trying to say. But I don't want anything else interfering with this fragrance oil. So I'm using deodorized cocoa butter, which has its own sort of chocolatey fragrance, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I love it sometimes. But for this particular one, not. Shea butter, 140 grams, and castor oil, 70 grams. I'm using a 40% lye solution. So it is a 291 grams of water and 194 grams of lye. My temperatures, my oils are a little warm today just because I am being impatient, but they're right around 100, 105 maybe. My lye water is right around 75. So they're a little farther apart than normal, but again, not doing a whole lot of design here. Okay, so before I add my lye water, I think I'm going to throw everything in here and get it blended all up. So here's the kaolin clay and the yogurt powder and the fragrance. And we'll do the titanium dioxide. We'll be using the tall and skinny mold from American Soap Supplies today. Okay, this is thickening up pretty quickly. So I'm gonna okay. So we're going to take the rice. So, there we have it. This feels pretty warm. I imagine, so I think the reviews I read of the fragrance said it didn't really accelerate things. This is the first time I've used that yogurt powder, and I'm wondering if that sped things up quite a bit, as well as the titanium dioxide. Sometimes that creates a little acceleration there for you. So anyway, but I'm going to keep, I didn't use all of my rice or my calendula petals. I'm sure when I cut this, some of it's going to fall off, So I may do some, you know, doctoring after it's cut and cured a little bit more to make it look a little bit better. But for right now, I am loving the top. Let's see if I can get a little bit focused here. Okay. All right, this is going to go in the fridge and sit, and then we'll cut it tomorrow. So stick around. After the break should be the cutting and unmolding, or unmolding and cutting. Okay, everybody, here is the cutting of Thai sticky rice. I have, this is actually not very old. It's probably only about 14 hours old, but it's super hard. I've laid it on its side, so the top is toward the back there. Now, you can see in the back, some of the tops has already fallen off, and I knew that would sort of happen, so I think there's enough on it right now that it looks good, but so I sort of put extra on, you know, knowing that some would fall off. But again, I'll probably have to clean these up a little bit. It's very firm, but, you know, still cuttable, or not difficult to cut, I should say. Okay, so a nice white bar. Now, when I poured this last night, when I put it in the mold, it immediately turned sort of a, like a light caramel color. And it's probably hard to see, but there's a kind of faint partial gel here in the middle, because this heated up pretty significantly. But the tops look good. I'm happy. I wanted, you know, a little bit of the gold leaves from the calendula petals and a little bright pink rice grains, and otherwise just a white bar of soap. So this isn't going to be very exciting to look at these, because these are going to all be white. Like I said, the tops I'm probably going to play with a little bit more. Just to make sure, you know, that they look good and there's enough. Like this one has plenty of top on it, but this one got a little bit smushed here, so I'm going to probably play with that one a little bit so I make sure it gets enough of the leaves on top of it. Oh, the smell is so nice. It's just as strong as it was last night. So again, these are, you know, the tops are looking pretty good for the most part. Okay, I'm super happy with this. I'm excited to try it in the shower also, to see if the yogurt powder really does anything, you know. Okay, so yeah, so some destruction in the back here. You know, definitely lost some of the top stuff there. But again, I have saved the extras, so I'll be playing with that a little bit. And this soap was a little bit tall, so it's sort of, some of it got stuck on my soap cutter here. And you know, someone asked me recently about what kind of soap cutter I would get, or if I like this one. And you know what, I do like this one. I got this when I first started soaping, and I was really using the Essential Depot red silicone mold, and that was really all I was using. I have since switched to the tall and skinny mold, which I like better. And this cutter works fine. It's very high quality. You know, I've never had a problem with it. I will tell you the one thing I would do, I would buy a different cutter now. And the only reason I would buy a different one is in the design. There are definitely cutters that, you know, instead of having the straight bar on the side over here, they have a rounded one. And that lets you put kind of any length of soap loaf that you have in it and not really have to worry about it. So I would definitely buy a different style of cutter. Although, I mean, I like the metal strings, and they cut very well. They make nice, clean cuts. But in terms of the shape of the cutter itself, I would definitely buy a different cutter. And eventually I may actually, I may get a different one. But for right now, you know, the tall and skinny mold fits in here just fine. You know, it's just big enough that it hits the sides, actually. So it still works okay in this cutter itself. But if I were doing it all over again, knowing then what I know now, I would have just bought a different style of cutter. So, okay, that's it. I may try to have some pictures of the bars that are cleaned up, because I think they're gonna. I think the white is going to continue to develop a little bit more and be a little bit brighter. And then I think when they're all cleaned up and looking nice and pretty, they will be gorgeous looking bars. So I may try to have some pictures of those at the end of the video here. Thanks so much for watching. Comments, questions, leave them below. If you have a request for a video that you would like to see, there will be a link in the description below to my request video, and leave that request in the comments section of that video, and I may do a video that you request. If you like this video, click that thumbs up. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, click on that subscribe button, and check back here for more crafty and soapy videos at Divinely Designed. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.